Welcome to the Board of Trustees meeting of June 14th, 2017. Tonight, we'll open the meeting as usual with a moment of silence and the Pledge of Allegiance. Tonight's moment of silence is in memory of Betty Jane Conrad. Betty was the wife of George Conrad, a 22-year veteran of Delhi Fire Department, mother of Ed Conrad, president of Delhi CERT, and for those who don't know what that means, Community Emergency Response Team. Betty is survived by 4 sons, 4 grandchildren, and 8 great-grandchildren. Our thoughts, prayers, and condolences go out to Ed and his family. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. Mr. Luby.
Motion 2017-144, approve the minutes from the Board of Trustees meeting held on May 25th, 2017, and dispense with the reading.
I move motion 2017-144.
Second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion carries.
Motion 2017-145, approve the minutes from the Board of Trustees meeting held on May 31st, 2017, and dispense with the reading.
I move motion 2017-145.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes, motion carries.
Motion 2017-146, approve bills for payment.
I move motion 2017-146.
Second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Motion 2017-147, approve the payment of overtime for pay period ending June 6, 2017.
I move motion 2017-147.
Second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes, motion carries.
Resolution 2017-155, resolution approving purchase order obligations incurred on behalf of the Township by the Township Administrator, authorizing payment of certain purchase order obligations and dispensing with a second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
I just want to take a quick moment to mention that once every 6 years, every piece of real estate in the state of Ohio has to go through a reappraisal process. And in 2017 is a year for Hamilton County. So what that means is you'll be getting letters in the mail as far as preliminary assessment values on your real estate. The commercial letters have already gone out, so the residential letters will be going out shortly. So what that also means is that this summer you will be seeing appraisers walking through your neighborhoods and probably taking pictures of your homes. So just wanted everyone to be aware of that. And there will be an appeal process also if you're not happy with your appraised value. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Tonight we have a special presentation. Chief Howarth? Oh, no, we have to do our motion, right? Sorry.
Motion 2017-148, approve the hiring of Joseph Kyle Venemeyer as a full-time police officer in the police department at the rate per the collective bargaining agreement with the Delhi Police Association, effective on June 15th, 2017.
I move motion 2017-148.
I second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, motion passes. Now, your Chief Howarth.
Thank you, Board of Trustees. I'd like to present to you Joseph Kyle Venemeyer. He goes by the name Kyle. He's 24 years old. He grew up in Harrison, Ohio. He graduated from Harrison High School in 2011 and obtained his bachelor's degree in accounting at Mount St. Joseph University in 2015. He currently resides in Norwood, Ohio. He was a corrections officer for Hamilton County Justice Center from August 2015 until November of 2016. We hired Kyle on November 28th of 2016. He started that Monday, and a week later he started the Cincinnati Police Academy on December 5th. We've been waiting anxiously for him to come back since then. He graduates this Friday. He's already passed the state test, so that's a good thing. So they'll go through tomorrow, the badge pinning and the graduation, and then we'll report here Monday morning as a police officer. So I don't know if you recall, but this is the first time I've sent somebody actually to the academy. Everybody's been certified before. And I distinctly remember sitting in the room and getting answered, why is this guy so special? Why do we want to send him to the academy for 6 months and not already certified when there's other people out there? So now it's up to you to show him. All right? So we're looking forward to him. He's going to be a great asset to this department all the way around. I'd also like to acknowledge his mother, Chris, his father, Mark Venemeyer, who's 31 years into Cincinnati Police Department. He's a lieutenant. His girlfriend, Kelsey, and his sister, Kara. So you're more than welcome to have anybody if you want up here with you. So, President, if you'd swear him in, I appreciate it.
Right there.
Yep.
You're good.
You'll read.
Raise your right hand, please. Okay. I, Joseph Kyle Venemeyer,
I, Joseph Kyle Venemeyer,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States of America,
that I will support the Constitution and laws of the United States of America,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Ohio,
the Constitution and laws of the State of Ohio,
and the resolutions of the Township of Delhi,
and the resolutions of the Township of Delhi.
and I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform
I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform
all the duties incumbent upon me
all the duties incumbent on me
as a police officer of the Delhi Township Police Department.
as a police officer of the Delhi Township Police Department.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations. It's been a long time.
I also just like to take a minute to thank the Cincinnati Police Department publicly for what they've done, allowing us to put the recruit in their class. No cost to us as a department, which saves us a lot of money, and you won't find any better training than Cincinnati Police Department when he's gone through the last 6 months. So I do appreciate what they've done for us. Thank you.
Well, we're glad he's finally here. Trustee Seavey?
Well, congratulations, Kyle, because, the accolades for you were laid well before we got to meet you. And I think it says a lot about the camaraderie of the Delhi Township Police Department that you see your fellow police officers all lined behind you. They're all here, one for all. So, congratulations.
Trustee Oswald?
We're excited to have you finally see you graduate. So congratulations and welcome to Delhi.
Okay, thank you. Okay, anybody who's here just for the swearing-in ceremony, if you'd like to leave at this time, you don't have to stay for the rest of the meeting. Go celebrate. You're welcome. Or patrol.
Yeah. Get back up there.
All right. Okay, we have another special presentation tonight. We have Greg DeLong, the Community Development Director.
Thank you very much for this opportunity to speak about what we are calling the Delhi Pike Economic Return on Investment Study. I'm used to talking and flipping here at the same time, so apologize. Give you a little background history on this. This started really with the Plan the Pike. One of the things that came out of it was a community recommendation talking about improving connections between the business corridor, Bailey, and Mount St. Joe University. So with that, we looked at grant funding to help figure out whether or not this is a good thing to do or not. So last year, June of 2016, we pursued a grant through Hamilton County Planning Department. We got a $20,000 grant to help us do a study just to see what the return on investment would be should the township ever consider putting in a bike path in that 1.1 mile stretch of roadway. Again, it was a $20,000 grant. We ended up getting the grant in August of last year. We contracted with Stantec, who was also the plan writer for the Plan the Pike development, redevelopment study. One of the things that's important about doing a study is if we do pursue forward with getting or constructing a potential multi-use trail, we're going to have some backup information. Everyone goes in front of the grant board saying, well, we just want it. We want it. Well, we need to have information to support our need in having that. And that is really what the goal of this study was about, is to really find out what the return on investment would be, so as we should we pursue forward, that we actually have some background information. So the purpose of this study was to define and assess the factors that contribute to the benefits of the 1.1 mile long multi-use trail extending from Mount St. Joe to the Central Business District on Delhi Pike. During the process, we did stakeholder interviews, and on the board right now, or the screen, you see some of the comments that we received back from the stakeholders that we did interview. We interviewed stakeholders from Mount St. Joe, Bailey, the Delhi Business Association, and also the Sisters of Charity. Ironically, those entities also gave us a support letter when we went after the grant back in 2016. But you see on there, who uses the road now? Mount St. Joe students, drivers, of course. A lot of employees that work out on the west end of Delhi Pike. Who do you want to use it and why? We heard a lot of comments about exercise, safety for students going back and forth. One of the things we learned about in the process was a lot of students are in athletics at the Mount, and they get back late at night and want to go grab a quick bite to eat. It's not always easy for them to get over to Delhi Pike. So that we heard a lot of that. We actually heard a lot of Sisters of Charity who say they would like to walk to work and bike to work. So that was quite interesting to hear. Even running, there's really no paths to run safely on the west end of Delhi. So this would give another option for people. And what is currently keeping people away? Again, it's just safety was the primary one. There's no safe areas to really walk. So, and if you look on the right-hand side, you can see a great comment we heard from Travis Kurd, who is the current president of the Delhi Business Association, which basically he said, townships want to connect students and businesses and recreation opportunities, and we want it to make it convenient and safe for all of you to get there. And I think that is really the key point. When we did the stakeholder interviews, there are some key components, and this is just a highlight of the study. These are some of the things that we saw come out of the study and the interviews. And as you can see, everything was pretty much on a positive. What would the trail do for us? Ease walking and biking through the corridor, improve attractiveness to new visitors, students, and customers. Minimize the amount of, or improve the amount of foot traffic and bicycle traffic, and also minimize congestion and overall mobility for automobiles. Here is just kind of a highlight of what the study was talking about, again, for the 1.1 mile stretch of roadway. This is very preliminary. This is not saying it's going on this side of the road or anything. This is just a pie in the sky. What would it take? And this is showing it on the south side at this point, but it's not finalized. But it shows, just some amenities along the way, from lighting to shelters, improved crosswalks, things like that. The benefits, the study came up with a cost and benefits thing over a 22-year period. At this point right now, at the completion of the study, it states that the cost to construct this is about $1.6 million. Now, this does not include possible right-of-way acquisition, anything like that, engineering fees, things like that. So this is just, again, just a preliminary cost of what it would be. Now, the benefits projected at this point are about $22.5 million. People may be asking, where do these numbers all come from? As part of the process, we basically use the 2016 Tiger Benefit Cost Analysis. It's done through the U.S. Department of Transportation. You basically take the information you have and you basically plug it into their system, and they project out. It's a very formulary system. I'll be honest, it's very confusing to understand. So if anyone wants me to sit down with them and try to explain it to them outside of this meeting, because it could be a couple hours to try to explain their formula. But it basically spits out the projections. They're estimates again, but it does spit out kind of the long-term benefits. So as you see on there, it's $22.5 million is what they're kind of expecting at this point, which is basically for every dollar spent on constructing the trail, we get about a $20 payback on it, which is a really good number. So that is the benefit cost of that at this time. In the study, and there are copies in the back, and it is also found on our website, there are some additional features in this study which talks about other trails in Ohio and their impacts. They did compare this potential trail to 29 other trails. I can actually speak very clearly on one of them, which is in my hometown. My sister used to be a recruiter for Honda, and one of the things the Honda up in Anna, Ohio, one of the things they had a hard time in attracting young professionals was a lack of amenities. They always wanted to know, where's our trails, where's the parks, things like that. My hometown actually has been very active. They constructed about 7 miles of trails over the last few years, and it is a tool for recruitment. I've also worked in Marysville, Ohio, where we were having a hard time regentrifying our downtown with millennials to use our loft apartments and things like that. They sat vacant. There's no amenities. They're all living in the Columbus area because they can hop on bike paths, things like that. That is really the trend nowadays, is people want amenities. I know police and fire are always important in communities, but now parks are becoming the big thing, especially with the younger generation. So, this is great information to know as we look in the future with this thing. But also in the study, you're going to look at some optimistic and pessimistic numbers in there, and there's also some quantitative methods and things like that, and there's additional interview answers in there too. So what happens next? And again, this is in no particular order, but these are some of the highlights of what we would have to do should the township decide to pursue a future construction of a trail. It would be identify stakeholders and partners, funding sources, which would be the key one, and again, this would be an excellent tool for us to use should we pursue funding sources. Of course, Delhi Pike is a county road, so we'd have to coordinate with the Hamilton County engineer. Again, one of the key ones is decide if the township wants to move forward with it, which has not been determined yet, of course, and continue communication with residents and businesses within that area. And I just want to give a quick thank you and special acknowledgments. These were pretty much everyone that participated in the study or gave letters of support. As you can see, you got Mount St. Joe. President Williams gave a letter of support. Delhi Business Association, Tony Capel, who's a past president, gave a letter of support. Sisters of Charity, the Leadership Council gave a letter of support. And we also had a letter of support from Adrian Walsh of Bailey. Everyone else on here was participants in the stakeholder interviews, and I want to thank Trustee Sturts for participating in this. And we also want to thank Stan Tech for their hard work in making this a complete product and one we should be proud of and hopefully will utilize in the future. So, and that is pretty much I have, and unless you have any questions.
Trustee Seavey.
I've been through the presentation, and I think we, like you say, this is the study. This is just the baby step in the beginning, so.
Yes.
Trustee Oswald.
No, I just want to emphasize this was part of Plan the Pike. I mean, Plan the Pike, this was an add-on because this actually didn't fall in the area they were looking at.
Correct.
This was an add-on to just get the study. So that's what we did. We had 100% grant money to do the study. By no means does this mean that we are voting on this, that we are moving forward on this. We've never even discussed it. We merely want to see what the numbers are. I mean, I have some serious questions about some of these numbers. I mean, when it's talking about $45 million for health benefits, I look at that going, really, $1.1 million or 1.1 mile path for $45 million? I've got questions about the numbers. I'm right now with the costs. I'm not comfortable with the numbers I'm seeing. More importantly, what this whole thing leaves out, a lot of that property is privately owned. So if you're going to purchase that property, at what cost that's not added in here?
And that is important to point that out. And that was not included in here, but there was a
Correct.
clause in the study that talks about that. With this just being a study at this point,
Right.
until we would ever get into engineering work, that's when you're going to figure out whether or not right away would need to be acquired or whatever.
Well,
But
and
at
that
this point,
opens
we
up-
just don't know. This was
Right.
just kind of giving us.
And that's where I'm very
information.
hesitant because what we see in economic development already that people are raising prices. If they know this would happen,
Right.
obviously private owners would do it. The only other option for the township would be eminent domain. And one, legally, if you could do that, you may see some lawsuits. But two, that's where I get a little queasy about eminent domain. So I think this is a nice preliminary report, gives us an idea where we're at, but by no means are we moving forward at this time. It's merely a study.
Yes.
And I appreciate all the work you put into it and that Stantec has put into it because, it is the future. It does fall in line with what we are trying to do, but, there are concerns, as you know, and it's unfinished. At this time, I'd like to step away from normal procedure protocol of the order. We do have a resident who would like to speak on this exact subject. So instead of readdressing it later, I'd like to ask Mr. Capel, Ed Capel on Timberway to come up. He's signed in to speak, so thank you. 5 minutes, Ed.
Just to put it in context, I walk Delhi Pike frequently, if not daily, at least 3 or 4 times a week. So I'm not against the project. I'm not sure I'm for it based, and I agree with Will. Some of the numbers are really amazing, and 19-to-1 is a fantastic return on investment. Hamilton County has roughly 14 feet each side of the existing roadway on Delhi Pike, so you would have to get right-of-way use. Eminent domain is not allowed to be used for bike trails, walk trails, so that's not going to happen. If you want to use the right-of-way, you have to give the Hamilton County engineer a revocable agreement with the township as a sponsor, and Delhi would have to pay all the engineering cost, all the build-out, all the maintenance, and all the repair cost. Does the 1.5 million include all the utility moves like telephone poles and water hydrants and water lines? There are some of those that go across the little creek on a bridge, so would they have to be moved? And if so, is that cost included? On the pollution reduction of 53,000, how many, well, now I know it's 1.1 miles in it, but how many cars would you have to give up and walk in order to come up with $53,000? And what are the CO2 emissions per year that you're attributing to these cars that you're giving up? I'm not against the numbers. I'm a numbers guy. I would just like to know what the variables really are. On the crash reduction, I think I saw that there's been one between 2004 and 2009. So if you're going to have a $542,000 crash reduction, how many of these do you expect to have between 2017 and 2045? And what would be the percentage reduction that you use to get to 540,000? It's just a huge number for cars unless there's a lot of life lost. On the health, and as Will mentioned, 45 million. How many people per week, per year would have to use the walk trail? How many years of life would be added to them during that period? And what's the statistical value of life that you're using to come up with your numbers? Some of the numbers are huge. The EPA says you could have $9.1 million for each year of increased life. You know, I haven't got it to buy another year, but it's an interesting thing. The other part that kind of, as a taxpayer, I look at is when you increase the property values, you're going to increase my taxes. I'm not talking about the taxes to build the trail, just in general, the taxes. If you raise my property value, when there's a new levy or a reappraisal, my taxes are going to go up. So I would think you need to be careful how you address that, because that's one of the issues that Greg has in here, that he's going to raise your property values. It's only good if you're selling.
That's right.
And I'm just interested in the details to make this thing work.
Okay,
As a finance guy, 19-to-1 is a great number.
right.
Thank you.
Okay, we will take these, I saw Mr. DeLong writing down some notes, so we will take these into consideration if and as we move forward. Any comments, Trustee Seavey?
No, I'm just pleased that, we have citizen inquiry about this, and I know Ed from a long time, and he's done a lot of number crunching for us as a township, so thanks, Ed.
Trustee Oswald?
If you remember, as treasurer of Miami View, one of the things we ran into, which maybe Greg needs to address, is how frequently cart paths get potholes and water freezing, rain and loading. It's important that the engineering study specify the depth of the base.
The continued maintenance of the trail itself.
There was, what,
Yeah,
$3,500 in there, or $3,300. Okay. Anybody? All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So, good work done, trying to move forward for Delhi. Okay, trustee correspondence, Trustee Seavey.
Yes, first I'd like to congratulate a wonderful partner that we have here in Delhi Township, which is the Western Wildlife Corridor. We are the proud township to have the Bender Mountain Trails as well as the Delshire Preserve, and we'd like to congratulate them on 25 years and the opening of their new Kirby Nature Preserve down on Cleves Warsaw. Yes. Right as you get to Addiston, it's right there. It's a wonderful spot, lots of learning opportunities, and they're going to be increasing their trails back behind there. So congratulations to the Western Wildlife Corridor. And of course, I have another Oak Hills announcement. And this one is really special to any of you who played basketball or sports through the west side of Cincinnati, and that is Talbot House every year awards Father of the Year. And this year, the Father of the Year award went to Oak Hills basketball coach Mike Price. And Mike Price is the first man to receive Father of the Year who actually is not a biological father. But he got this for his mentoring and his role model of all the children, boys, athletes that he's had through the years at Oak Hills. So as an Oak Hills grad, I'm very proud that Mike Price is part of our family, and congratulations.
Wonderful. Trustee Oswald.
I just want to talk about the events in the park. We've done a lot to focus on the park and create more activities for the residents. Saturday was the first farmers market, which I thought was fantastic. A lot of people expressed how neat it was, how many people were there. The interest was high. There was a lot of people doing yoga. People said, I didn't know people did yoga in Delhi. But that's what's nice is people were excited. There was definitely a buzz. People were talking about it. Keep in mind, it's going to be every Saturday through October, and I'm confident from talking to Josh Torbeck, our park director, that we're going to have a lot more vendors join because of the turnout we had. So keep in mind the farmers market. We also have the concert in the park tomorrow. It is going to be rain or shine, 7 o'clock, Sapphire Express. We are doing 3 concerts this year, and we're doing 2 movies in the park. So again, spread word of mouth. I know a lot of people at the farmers market said they didn't know this was the opening, but they saw it on Facebook. So share it, like it, just get the word out. Obviously, that's going to help everyone. And then also this Sunday for Father's Day, keep in mind there is fishing. It's going to be open fishing for Father's Day. That's a fun time. And every Friday, it's open fishing at the park. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Just spread word of mouth. The more advertising, marketing we can do, the more people come out, and these events are successful, which means we can do more of them.
And I believe since we won't have a meeting before then, the first movie is next Thursday.
Correct.
Correct?
Lego.
Batman's Lego
Lego
movie?
Batman. Saturday.
Saturday? Sorry, next Saturday.
Lego Batman.
Thank you for correcting me on that. Okay, also, a reminder for everybody, if you've not seen it, our new Firehouse Station 36 will be dedicated Tuesday between 5 and 7. There's going to be a lot of ceremonial things going on, dedications for the Fireman Memorial and the building and so on and so forth. So please come out and tour the building and come to the dedication. And also, last Friday was the DCPA golf outing. They did a really nice job of making it a very nice day for all the participants. And what they do for the police department with the monies they raise on this fundraiser is unbelievable. I know Chief Howarth is appreciative for everything that they do for them. And this year it didn't rain, so bless them for that. But thank you for everything everybody does for Delhi. All right, so nothing with administration this week, but Parks and Recreation. Mr. Luby.
Resolution 2017-156, resolution entering into an agreement with the Delhi Skirt Game Committee for use of Delhi Park for its 2017 annual charity event, authorizing the park director to execute the agreement and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second, the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
I second the motion to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2017-157, resolution acknowledging donation from and entering into a sponsor agreement with the La Roses, Inc. for the football athletic field and scoreboard during 2017, granting renewal options, authorizing the township administrator to execute the agreement, and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution? No.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
Second the motion to dispense with the second reading?
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
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 Mr. Libby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Motion 2017-149, approving and allowing open fishing at Clearview Lake in Delhi Park on Sunday, June 18th from 7 a.m. to dusk.
I move motion 2017-149.
I second the motion?
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Motion passes.
Resolution 2017-158, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation and accumulated debris at 5172 Kincardine Drive and dispensing with a second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. DeLong?
Yes, at 5172 Kincardine, there is excessive vegetation, as you see on the slide on the screen behind me. It is still in the existing condition, as you see, and we inspected it this morning, and we wish you would declare it a nuisance tonight so we can proceed forward.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
Second the motion to dispense with the second reading?
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Libby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2017-159, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 455 Wilkie Drive and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of this resolution?
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. DeLong?
Yeah, this is a repeat offender and a vacant property at 455 Wilkie Drive. As you can see on the picture, it has excessive vegetation. It was in that condition this morning, so we do request you declare it a nuisance.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
Second the motion to dispense with the second reading?
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Mr. Libby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2017-160, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 5405 Boutique Court and dispensing with a second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of this resolution?
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. DeLong?
Yes, this is another repeat offender and an occupied structure at 5405 Boutique. As you see in the slide, there is excessive vegetation. It is primarily in the rear yard. It was in the same condition this morning, so we do request you declare it a nuisance.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
Second the motion to dispense with the second reading?
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Mr. Libby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2017-161, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 583 Libby Joe Drive and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of this resolution?
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. DeLong?
Yes, this is another repeat offender. Unfortunately, this property is vacant. The excessive vegetation is primarily in the rear yard. It was in the same condition this morning. We do request you declare it a nuisance.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
Second the motion to dispense with the second reading?
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Libby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2017-162, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 486 Welland Drive and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of this resolution?
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. DeLong?
Yes, this property is another repeat offender. It is an occupied structure at 483 Welland. It was in the same condition as you see in the slides, or it was in the same condition this morning as you see in the slides. We do request you declare it a nuisance.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
Second the motion to dispense with the second reading?
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Libby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2017-163, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 4356 Delhi Pike and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of this resolution?
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. DeLong?
Yes, this property is another repeat offender. It does have excessive vegetation throughout the property. It was in that condition this morning, so we do request you declare it a nuisance.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
Second the motion to dispense with the second reading?
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Libby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2017-164, Resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 4426 Delhi Pike and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution? Mr. DeLong?
Yes, this is another repeat offender. This is a vacant property at 4426 Delhi Pike. It was in the condition as you see in the slides this morning, so we do request you declare it a nuisance.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
Second the motion to dispense with second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2017-165, resolution declaring nuisance for excessive vegetation at 322 Charing Cross Court and dispensing with a second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. DeLong?
Unfortunately, this is another repeat offender. This is an occupied structure. The property has excessive vegetation throughout. It was in that condition this morning. We do request you declare it a nuisance.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
Second the motion to dispense with second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Resolution passes. Okay, Public Works. Thank you, Mr. DeLong.
Resolution 2017-166, resolution authorizing application for a grant from the Hamilton County Engineers Office for 20% licensed tax funds to assist in the cost of the 2017 street rehabilitation and repair project expenses, authorizing the Director of Public Works to execute any required documents in connection with the grant application, and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. Ripperger?
Yes, this is a grant we do every year with Hamilton County. The amount normally stays the same, a little bit over $18,000, and then we just roll that into our yearly street rehab.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
Second the motion to dispense with second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Resolution passes. Okay, Police Department, nothing tonight. On to the Fire Department, please.
Resolution 2017-167, resolution entering into an agreement with Cincinnati Bell Telephone Company LLC for Optics TV service at 440 Greenwell Avenue, authorizing the Township Administrator to execute the agreement and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of this resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution? Nope.
I move to dispense with the second reading of this resolution.
Second the motion to dispense with second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Sturts?
Yes.
Mrs. Seavey?
Yes.
Mr. Oswald?
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Motion 2017-150, to dedicate and name the driveway at the new firehouse at 440 Greenwell Avenue, Sanker, Selhorst Way.
I move motion 2017-150.
Second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes, motion passes. Okay, we already did citizens' comments, so announcement of community events, Mr. Luby.
The fishing program at Clearview Lake are on Fridays through September. They are from 7 a.m. to dusk. They'll be at Clearview Lake at 5125 Foley Road. The Delhi Farmers Markets will be Saturdays through October. Times will be 9:30 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Will be at the Clearview Lake gravel parking lot at 5125 Foley Road. The concert in Delhi Park featuring Sapphire Express is Thursday, June 15th. Starts at 7 p.m. at Delhi Park at 5125 Foley Road. And a special thanks to our sponsors, the Delhi Professional Firefighters Local 3389, St. Dominic Athletic Association, Mount St. Joseph University, Seton High School, CSL Plasma, and the Kiwanis Club of River Hills, Delhi Hills. The self-defense class in Delhi Park will be Thursday, June 22nd at 6 p.m. It'll be at the park at 5125 Foley Road. There'll be a train display hosted by Bailey Wellness Center on Friday, June 23rd from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m., Saturday, June 24th from 9:30 a.m. to 6 p.m., Sunday, June 25th from 10:30 a.m. to 3 p.m. It will be at the Bailey Wellness Center at 990 Bailey Drive. The Lego Batman movie at Delhi Park will be Saturday, June 24th. The movie showing will be at dusk. The 28th Annual Riverview Delhi Kiwanis Rolling on the River Car Show will be Sunday, July 23rd. It will be from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Fernbank Park. That's all we have.
Thank you. I don't know who does the graphics for these slides, but we're laughing up here because there was a picture of Moby Dick for the fishing in Clearview Lake, so it was a little comical. Is that your little sense of humor, Mr. Cameron?
I thought I saw it there, so trying to be realistic. Sorry.
Next week will be a Loch Ness Monster? Or?
It'll be something different each week.
Loving it. Okay. We do not have a need to go to executive session, so if we could adjourn the meeting.
With no further business to be brought before the board, I move we adjourn.
Second the motion.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Have a great couple weeks. Our next meeting is Wednesday, June 28th at 6 p.m.
I don't have contacts in. I'm like, that looks like Moby Dick. I'm like, is that a wave or is that Moby Dick? Well, even the ninja.